see you.
All right.
You well?
You got the political colors on it, huh?
Didn't think of it that way.
Well, you know how people run for president always wear red and blue.
Yeah, so I'm wearing red and blue.
Just as a fun thing, a man called Hilton, and I think his wife Paulette, the first time they ever come to CSL, 40 miles they drove.
Oh, that's
So
lovely.
in case, just so you know that.
Thank you.
How
Thank you.
would he know that, you know?
Very nice reflections. Good morning, CSL. Oh, it's nice to hear that. My name is Todd Masnicki. I'm your presider this morning. On behalf of the center, I want to welcome all of you here joining us in person in the sanctuary, as well as on Facebook Live, YouTube, and live streaming on cslftl.org, our website. So thank you for choosing to spend part of your Sunday with us. We've got a great service here for you. Please also remember to follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook. Like us, share us with your friends, download our app at Center for Spiritual Living FL in the App Store, and we would really appreciate that if you would just share that with the people that follow you. We've got some announcements and a few people that are going to come to the stage to make some. The first is that we have the Pantry of Broward Thanksgiving Food Drive that is happening now. Donations are being accepted up through November 15th. CSL has boxes that are in the lobby near the door to collect donated items both today and next Sunday, November 10th. You can help by donating food at the drop-off center here in the lobby, or to volunteer and help with meal distribution, and also donate cash funds to support this impactful cause. So thank you for your donations there. On Thursday, November 28th at 10 a.m., we're hosting a Thanksgiving Gratitude Circle to express gratitude for the blessings in your life and also to hear from others about the blessings in theirs. The circle will be followed by a bountiful meal, and we will provide the turkey dressing and beverages, and we encourage attendees to bring side dishes and desserts to make it a real abundant traditional Thanksgiving feast. You can attend the circle, the meal, or both if you choose. So we invite you to join us for that. I have Eric Shelley and Bonnie that are going to talk about yoga. So I invite you up to the stage, and we have a video as well.
The video?
Absolutely. I'd like to share with you, basically, my name is Eric Shelley, a brief glimpse of our new current yoga program via video. Anytime.
No sound. I guess you guys better go ahead and start.
Okay. All right. Not a problem. Okay. Bonnie, please come up. Thank you. Thank you. My name is Eric Shelley. I'm a practitioner here at CSL. This is Bonnie Rapetti. She is our new yoga teacher, spiritual teacher here.
To focus on your breathing, lengthening and deepening your breath, quieting and relaxing your mind.
I have been actively participating in the spiritual practice of yoga for over 2 years. As a practitioner, I personally suggest you consider setting aside 1 hour, 1 to 2 days a week of sacred groundedness from this extremely high-paced world that we all live in, and simply give back to ourselves by aligning within to that God consciousness of your individual interpretation thereof that we all possess. What I enjoy about Bonnie's class in particular is how she sets the tone for each class with a sense of peace and serenity. Bonnie creates a welcoming, comfortable space to practice yoga. Each class begins with a calming effect to the Trinity, spirit, soul, and body, for which I am grateful. Love and light to you all, and now Bonnie Rapetti will say a few words.
Thank you, Eric. Do we have the video, or are we just going to pass on the video for now?
Yes, the video is working now.
Okay, I'd like to just show the video, and then I'll speak for a moment.
Here to welcome you to yoga class on Wednesdays and Fridays at noon, right here at the Center for Spiritual Living, Fort Lauderdale, in front of the Buddha. During our yoga practice, I'll invite you to focus on your breathing, lengthening and deepening your breath, quieting and relaxing your mind so that you may become fully present and active to your action. Fully present and attentive to your action, which is the action of yoga practice, the intentional movements of the body with conscious mind, conscious breath, and conscious action. Conscious breath, conscious mind, and conscious action, both on the mat and off the mat. Yoga is a spiritual practice with so many benefits. It enhances peace and balance, flexibility, acceptance, wisdom and strength in our bodies and minds. So come join me. I look forward to joining you and inviting you into this vibrant dance of yoga practice. Namaste Wednesday, Namaste Friday, Namaste at noon, Namaste, I bow to you.
Thank you. So, hello everyone, and thank you, Eric. One thing I'd like to say, in the yoga tradition, in the Sanskrit language, there's a word called bhakti, and that means the devotional path, which is the path of the heart. It's one of the 4 paths of yoga. And I just wanted to say to Eric that your devotion to this practice has been beautiful to witness, and I'd like to thank you for how you inspire me with that devotion. And yes, for Eric. And I thank John Waterhouse and Melissa for allowing me this opportunity. I'll admit, most Sundays I am at home live streaming the services, and I do listen and enjoy. But it's beautiful to be in front of the community today. And I've been practicing yoga for over 25 years, and I am welcoming you to join in this integrative practice of body, mind, and spirit through the practice of yoga. And I was brought through these doors. Like many of you, I have attended the Sunday services, I've attended classes, I've attended phenomenal workshops here. But what brought me through the door was when a friend told me about a yoga class. So I'm so grateful that I was brought into the community through yoga. I immediately started taking the yoga class, started taking it twice a week, became completely dedicated and devoted and disciplined with the practice. And because I'm a registered yoga teacher with the Yoga Alliance, I was asked to sub the yoga class occasionally. And then I started subbing the yoga class a little more frequently. And now I'm happy to say that I am teaching this yoga class on Wednesdays and Fridays at noon. So I am here truly just to personally introduce myself and to welcome and encourage you to give this practice a try with me Wednesdays and Fridays at noon, right in the meditation yoga room with the Buddha. And before I leave the stage, when we look into 2025 and the new calendar year, we of course want to grow and expand the yoga community, invite more people to participate. So to be more inclusive with the schedule, I'd just like to take a quick poll of hands, and please don't feel pressured. And the question really is, would you be more inclined, available, interested in attending an afternoon weekday class, or would an evening class be more allowable for your schedule? So I'm going to end with that. And again, thank you for this opportunity. But again, just a quick poll of hands. Who would be interested and available in attending an afternoon class, like a Wednesday or Friday at noon? Oh, wonderful. I see many of you here raising your hands. So I really, truly, personally invite you to give it a try. All levels are welcome. And then who would be more available, interested, able to attend a class if it were an evening class, like a 6:30, 7 p.m. class? I see quite a few more hands up there. That's fantastic. So I got a little poll. Thank you, John, for allowing me to do this to the beautiful congregation. It is an honor to be in your presence today. Namaste means the divine light in me honors the divine light in you. So namaste to you all. Thank you.
Thank you. Join us for yoga, and there's ecstatic dance tonight, so Reverend Tina is going to share more.
Yes, it's the first Sunday of every month. This will be our 4th offering of ecstatic dance. And, you know, when we were driving here, I was thinking, what was I going to say on stage about this? We've talked about, when we've announced it the past few months, that we consider, myself and Juan Carlos, consider ecstatic dance a moving meditation, kind of like yoga as well. And it's a bit different. And I had a real visceral experience this last month. about it being very meditation-like. I was present to the ecstatic dance, participating in the ecstatic dance, and there was so much mind chatter. My brain was just going and going and going, and I just kept breathing, and I would close my eyes, and I would move, and I would breathe, and I would give myself the space. And then it just started to quiet down. It quieted down in my mind, and my body started to move in a way that it hadn't necessarily moved before. So this is the process of ecstatic dance. You know, we're there to come in, to build community. We start with intention setting and a small meditation. We move into ecstatic dance, and we end with a sound bath. There's so much that's going on in our world, and so much of this energy and emotion and opinion and judgments that we may hold, we hold in our body. And ecstatic dance is a way to literally get it out and create a space that is clean, that is clear, and that we're available for this divine presence to be heard and felt and experienced in a greater way. It's always present in us, but there's that which is getting in the way. And this ecstatic dance is an opportunity to let it all go on the dance floor and be open to receive the divine. So we look forward to seeing you there. 7 to 9 tonight. Thank you. Thank you, Todd. Thank you. Todd's great. Yes. Tonight, 7 to 9, the doors open at 6:30. We can commune in the lobby space. You get to connect with people. And then when we come in here, it's our own individual journey. So we have that opportunity to be present in our own beings, but we have the opportunity to connect with the community. One last thing, if you are wanting a little bit more understanding about ecstatic dance, a consistent dancer with us is practitioner Julie, and she said she was open, so come and talk to Julie, get her experience of it, and she'd be willing to tell you some wonderful things that have happened since she started coming, and it's wonderful.
Thank you, Reverend Tina. And I'm reminded, Reverend Heidi Alfrey's in town, and she's going to be here next Sunday giving the message. So join us for that. Bring your friends, bring a guest, bring a new person to come sit with you and join us for that. So for more details on this and everything that's happening, go to guest services, go to cslftl.org, our website, or go to our app to find out more. So here at CSL, we have an intention statement that says who we are and how we want to be present in the world. So I invite you to all please stand if you're able and join me. We will say it together. And afterwards, please greet your neighbor with a hello, a namaste, a handshake, however you're comfortable. So CSL, Fort Lauderdale, who are we? We are a loving and diverse spiritual community dedicated to personal growth, healing, and service.
So it is. Yeah, we do.
When did you get a drummer?
I was
Just
not.
for today?
No,
You're gonna do
I don't know. Wasn't I had nothing to do with it. Morning, Drew. Nothing to do with it. Well, that was interesting announcements. Not on your part.
I'll be honest, we really shouldn't have to go back up on stage and doing that stuff.
Tina even went long.
Yeah, I know, yeah. And didn't have the, most important thing is when is it?
Yeah, of course.
So, that's all, that's just me.
All right, good morning, CSL family. Here we go. There we are. We have come together as a family. We have come here as we are. We have come with Raise the roof with shouts of praise. Spirits in this place. Raise the roof with shouts of praise. Spirits in this place.
Okay, let's take that inward. Know with me that Spirit is in this place. It's in this place because we are here. It's in this place because Spirit is ubiquitous, always present. And we can rely on that to the depths of our being, knowing that we are never alone. We are always in the presence. And because of that, life works. And the clearer we are that life works, the better life works for us. So on this beautiful Sunday morning, I know we gather to remember the truth of our being, the wholeness of our lives, and all the good that surrounds us. And we let that be the truth, right here, right now, and forevermore. As together we say, and so it is. Thank you.
Hope that the world stops raining, stops burning its back on the globe. So nobody here is blameless. We can fix all that we've done. Really hope Mama can't see this. I hope that we still have a dream. I'm hoping that change isn't hopeless. I'm hoping to start it with me. I just hope I'm not the only one. Yeah, I just hope I'm not the only one. Hope it's not seen forever. Instead of what we can think. Hope it's not seeing each other. So we all plead the same. Really hope someone can hear me. My child is in bed, the weight of God. Hope to find a voice within me to scream at the top of my lungs. And I just hope I'm not the only one. And I just hope I'm not the only one. I cannot hear you. How can things get better than once said? Call me, you call me a dreamer, but it seems that dreams are all that we have left. Hope that we still have a heartbeat. Hope we don't turn to stone. At night when you turn the lights off. Hope you don't cry alone. Hope we stop taking for granted all of the land and all of the sea. Taking a chance on loving. Hope that you'll take it with me. I just hope I'm not the only one. I just hope I'm not the only one. I just hope I'm not the only one.
Center for Spiritual Living Fort Lauderdale is a member community of Centers for Spiritual Living, a global organization with member communities across North and South America, Europe, Asia, Africa, and Australia. We are a spiritual community that respects and honors all faiths that seek to create a better world. We know there is no wrong way to acknowledge divine presence, whether by lighting a candle, chanting a mantra, or offering a prayer. We respect and honor all paths that call us to a greater awareness of spirit. This morning we celebrate the diversity in religious practices with our ceremony known as the Flames of Faith. The candle is lit for the Tao, to honor the disciplined path of heavenly order, the natural way. The candle is lit for the shamanic traditions, honoring the beliefs and spiritual practices of all indigenous people. The candle is lit for Hinduism, to honor the spiritual path of divine self-awareness, balance, and harmony. The candle is lit for Judaism, to honor the path of devotion to one God. The candle is lit for Buddhism, to honor the Four Noble Truths and the way of compassion. The candle is lit for Christianity, to honor the Christ consciousness alive within us all. The candle is lit for Islam, to honor the path of peaceful submission to the will of God. The candle is lit for the Baha'i faith, to honor the spiritual unity of humankind. The candle is lit for our own faith, New Thought, Ageless Wisdom, to honor the metaphysical path and the practice of universal spiritual principles. And the final candle is lit for peace and for our sacred appreciation of all faiths and all principled spiritual practices throughout the world. And so it is.
Beautiful people of CSL, good morning. I'm Carl Gustafson. I'm one of the practitioners here, one of your practitioners. Each week we are guided by 7 core principles at CSL. They are love, healing, oneness, abundance, spiritual growth, healing, service, and diversity. I think I said healing twice.
That's cool.
Yep, we need healing. Yep. Each week we choose to focus on one to keep its meaning fresh in our mind. This week our focus is spiritual growth. I grew up in the Episcopal faith, and my view of God was an angry man up in the sky who was always judging me. First time I went to the Spiritual Living Center of Atlanta 20 years ago, so the first words I heard from the pulpit were that I, as a gay man, was loved by God just as I am. I knew that deep inside, but I never expected to hear it from a pulpit. That day, my view of God grew exponentially. A year later, I went to a spiritual weekend retreat, and I was exposed to a lot of things I hadn't seen or heard before. I went in to the retreat with a view of God as big as a portable black and white TV with rabbit ears. I left with a view of God, an IMAX screen in full Technicolor with surround sound. Pretty neat. One of the things I really love about CSL, the study and use of the philosophy of science of mind, is we recognize there are many, many sources of wisdom. The Bible, the Torah, the Quran, Tao Te Ching, Albert Einstein, Yoda, Betty White, you and me. All sources of wisdom. This openness has allowed me to explore further than I would have otherwise, exploring things that I've normally dismissed as woo-woo. Recently, I've been very interested in the research that's showing that plants and trees communicate with each other and even help each other. How cool is that? A couple weeks ago, I came home from work exhausted. I couldn't find the energy or the focus to get anything done. When I got home, luckily it was cool enough to sit outside. I set out a lounge chair, I put it near a table so I'd have a place for my water bottle, and sat down. Shortly a wind came up, a gust of wind, and the wind, there's a banana tree behind me, and the wind pushed a frond of the banana tree onto my shoulders. It wasn't just resting there, it was cupping my shoulder. It had draped itself on my shoulder. Otherwise, I would have brushed it away to not be bothered by it. Instead, I realized that tree had reached its touch out to me, to hold me, to soothe my angst. Wow. I think a lot of people think we practitioners have everything figured out. That's certainly not the case in my life. I have many growing edges, as do everyone here. What I do have is a faith that things are going to work out, that things are going to be okay, that I'm surrounded by love, and that everything is divine right order, whether it looks that way or not. A friend says, I can't wait to see what good comes of this. That faith keeps a smile on my face when I'm living life. I know that I'm surrounded by life and it all works out. It always has. That's spiritual growth, my soul's continuing evolution. Our core value this week is spiritual growth, and so it is.
So it is.
Once again, good morning, CSL family. Please welcome our guest musicians today. On bass, we have Jorge. Make some noise for Jorge. And on drums, we have Ivan. Make some noise for Ivan. Heaven knows I've done wrong. Mercy helped me see I've been living a lie. And while writing this song, thinking about your goodness, I started to cry. Oh, grace, what would I do without grace? Oh, grace, what would I do without grace? Oh, grace, where would I be without grace? How can you love me still when I've done wrong? Grace, how can I make it through this angry storm? Grace, oh, grace, what What would I do without grace? Oh, 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 grace. Where would I be without grace? What can make me whole in my soul? Grace. What can wash my sin? Oh, grace. Oh, grace. What would I do without grace? Tell you what lately I've learned. Picks me up whenever I'm down. Have you ever been down? Whoa, 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 grace. What would I do without grace? Whoa, 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 grace, oh, grace, oh, grace. Where would I be without grace? I said, amazing grace, how sweet the sound. It saved a wretch like me. You see, I once was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. That's why we sing amazing. That's why we sing amazing, amazing grace. Oh, grace, oh, grace. What would I do without grace? Whoa, whoa, whoa. Oh, grace, oh, grace, oh, grace. Where would I be without grace?
Beautiful. Thank you. Thank you. So I have an important announcement for you this morning. Reverend Tina, would you please come forward? Please congratulate Reverend Tina. She is your new associate minister. I'm not going to tell you all about her duties and responsibilities, but she will be in the office on Mondays through Wednesdays. So if you're looking for a minister to speak to, you can contact her here. Thank you. And now I have a confession. For 30 years of ministry, I never once didn't catch the time change. In fact, I was a bit uppity at my center in Asheville. I would say to people, okay, there are going to be people who walk in right near the end. Please be nice to them because they're here in time for the offering. And those that came an hour early in the fall, I would always say I was amused by them. So today you can be amused by me because I was here at 5:30 this morning. And so it is. So today I want to speak to you on the topic of intention, specifically the power of this thing that we call intention. We all know the word, it's not news, but how we use it is something to look at, something to think about. We all want to get further along in achieving the outcomes we desire, of accomplishing things, of acquiring things. We have many different areas of our lives that we want to be active in. If we're in service, we want to do that work well, in integrity, and in a meaningful way. One of the best tools I know of in my spiritual toolbox, y'all have a spiritual toolbox? I encourage you to make sure you do have a spiritual toolbox and that you know what's in it. Intention is one of those great ones. I would say it falls right behind gratitude in the importance of how we apply it. Because this thing of intention is setting forth an idea on how it is our life is going to move, what it is we're going to do to achieve the outcomes that we seek, and what is our commitment to that within ourselves, to be as clear in our own thinking about where we are going in our lives. When I work with somebody in a counseling setting, I often ask them, what's your intention? Sometimes it's a deer in the headlights look, because they hadn't thought about that. Sometimes they will come up with something in the moment. But most times I've found that people are struggling with their lives, that have situations that they haven't quite figured out how to deal with, haven't set an intention to resolve that, to move beyond that, to learn from that. Something that we forget when there's a problem. We point at it and go, bad, bad. But the truth is that we created that. We create everything in our lives, and there's something there for us to know where it wouldn't be happening. And I believe that we can, by setting an intention, move from that state of uncertainty into a state of clarity, into a state where we can really take on the world in a meaningful way. Dr. Holmes says, intention is the willingness to hold thought centered until the form appears. I love that idea. Of course, in spiritual mind treatment, we say, let go of it. And what he's saying with intention is, hold on to it. Stay centered. Know why you're doing what you're doing. Know the outcome that you fully intend to experience. And when you state that clearly, when you see that clearly in your mind, then you can have it in your life. Because whatever you can see, touch, taste, smell, know in your mind, spiritual law will take and create into your life. And it's your clarity that actually makes that happen. It's your setting an intention with clarity that actually moves your life along in a good way. Through the use of intention, we recognize the importance of the actions in our lives, because they are all lined up for a specific outcome. When we don't set an intention, we often just kind of let life come and go. You know, sure, we have a desire, we have desires, things that we'd like to create in our lives, but without the intention to move us in specifically in that direction, we can fall short of that. And then we wonder why we didn't get what we wanted. Well, we didn't apply the spiritual principle that will get us there. And to me, that's intention. To me, intention in our lives is like what laser is to light. It's intense. It's directed. It takes you to a place of really seeing what it is you're doing. And isn't that powerful for us when we can state clearly where it is we're going, what we're going to accomplish, what we're going to learn? Anytime we do that. I've been with people, professionals, in working with groups of people. My PhD is in organizational psychology, so I've had the blessing of knowing a number of people like that. And they will start a meeting by going around the circle to everybody that's involved and asking them what their intention is for this time together. Nobody ever thinks about that. But when that happens, and he or she is collecting that information as they go, we're creating a group intention for an outcome that we'll achieve. And then these professionals that I'm talking about, at the end of the meeting, will go back over it and see if we actually accomplished that. Whoa! And what I have found in 99% of the times, we've accomplished that. I may start using that at practitioner meetings. because we have wonderful practitioners, but intention could not hurt us on achieving the outcomes that we desire. I've seen people demonstrate intention in a number of different ways. I've seen people choosing life over terminal illness. We heard that last week from Jeannie Looper Smith. She set an intention 14 years ago to live a full life, and she's doing that. She's doing that. Even with her medical diagnosis, she's still living that life, and that is clearly her intention. I've seen people choose relationships over loneliness. And the way you set an intention for a relationship is to look at yourself and say, what do I bring to a relationship? How is me being in a relationship going to be of value to someone else? And when we look at it from that point, we create an intention to be the one that can be in that successful relationship. Most people think, well, I want somebody that is good looking, that drives a nice car, that all these superficial things. That doesn't matter, and you won't get that anyway. You get what you want in life by being who you want to be, to have that in your life. That's what intention's about. I've seen people choose peace, even when life seemed to be falling apart. This often happens in family situations, and everybody's getting ready to spend Thanksgiving with people like that. And the trick I want to tell you about getting through Thanksgiving with relatives that in the past have driven you a little crazy is set an intention that the whole experience is about love. So that when somebody acts out, because you cannot control them, but you can absolutely control your own affect. And if you're in a state of loving them, even when they're acting out, you'll have a nice Thanksgiving. I don't know what they'll have, but you'll have a nice Thanksgiving. I have seen people set intentions to choose to be masters of their own lives. What could be more important and valuable than that? I learned about setting intention from my very first spiritual teacher in Sydney, Australia. He was so clear about that. He taught me to hold my thought still until I could see it. Hold my intention still until I could see it. I found that incredibly powerful because that caused me to, on a regular basis, to create that vision of the outcome that I was seeking, so that it became indelibly placed in mind, my mind, the mind of God, whatever you want to call it, but it was there so clearly that the spiritual law could not resist bringing that to me in my life. I found that incredibly helpful. It's one of the first things I learned. Of course, in our teaching, probably the best way to set an intention, other than simply stating it, is to use it in your spiritual practice. To do it in a way that you can see it, so that as you do your affirmative prayer work, your spiritual mind treatment, you can see that outcome, and you have a clear and absolute intention that that is the reality of your life. Anyone that can do that and will take the time to do it will get the result they seek. That's been my experience for all these years. It's a powerful place to be. Dr. Holmes says the law of mind is our access to the original creative genius of the universe and has no intention for us other than the intention that we give it. As I've said many times, spiritual law does not give us direction. It simply takes what we give it and it brings it into our lives. It creates it into our lives. The great creator of the universe is not us. We are the initiator of creation. But true creation happens through spiritual law because we are clear, the law is clear, and we get that we desire in life. That's what makes the difference. There's a man I want to tell you about who I was reminded of from my friend Juan Carlos Sucaris. The man's name is Walter Russell. Anybody ever heard of Walter Russell? Okay, then I get to tell you about Walter Russell this morning, because Juan Carlos and I are the only ones. Well, actually, I'm sure Reverend Tina knows too. Anyway, Russell was from New York City. He was a famed painter and sculptor. He also was a real estate developer pre-Trump. He lived back in. He did a lot of his great stuff back in the early part of the 20th century. and built buildings that I think are worth billions now. But one of the great stories about his life was when he was young. He apparently always had a good attitude toward life and believed that he could do whatever he set his mind to. But one day he was having a conversation with a young lady that he was dating who was in love with the opera. And more than anything, she wanted to go to the opera in New York City. And he thought, okay, those tickets are expensive, but I can pull off a couple of tickets. We can do that. So he said to her, great, we'll go to the opera. And she thanked him profusely for promising to buy her season tickets to the opera. When she said that out loud, his immediate impulsive reply was, season tickets? That's impossible. That would take a year's salary. He didn't say this part, but it would have taken a year's salary for him to actually be able to buy tickets to the opera. And she backed up and looked at him and said, well, I never thought I would hear you say the word impossible. He said, you're right. We're going to go to the opera all season. I'll figure it out. And he set an intention right there that he would do that. So the day that the sales for the opera tickets began, he went and stood in line from the night before. He stood in line. I probably didn't stand the whole night, but he was in line with other people because there were lots of people that wanted these tickets as well. In the morning, at some early hour, probably 8 o'clock, the ticket office opened, and people started from the front of the line buying tickets. But it moved slowly, and he was somewhere way back in the line. And the man standing behind him tapped him on the shoulder and said, excuse me, I have got to be at work by 9 o'clock. I cannot stay here and do this. I tell you what, if you'll buy my tickets for me, I'll give you $5. $5 in the 1930s was a lot of money. And he said, okay, I'll do that for you. I'll even do you one better. I will bring those tickets to your office. Just give me the information, give me the money, and I'll do that for you. Now, all these other people that are standing around in line, they had the same dilemma. They needed to be somewhere. So after that man left, the next one came up and said, how about doing that for me? And then another, and then another, and then another. So that by the time Walter got to the front of the line, he had enough money, he had more than enough money to buy 2 season tickets to the opera. And he was able to provide tickets to all those people that went off to do whatever was theirs to do. That is how we set intention. We do not set intention based on our ability to know how it's going to turn out, based on our ability to think that we should know every step along the way. That's not how it works. It starts with simply knowing what it is that we're to know. How, as many great spiritual teachers say, is none of your business. If you are absolutely clear that this is yours to do and that you can do it, then do it and get out of the way and let it happen. I just remembered a book that I read years ago that had a lovely story in it similar, of a spiritual leader of a community had bills to pay, some major bills that had come up, and there was an administrator there that kept coming to him and said, these bills are due. We have to pay these bills. And he would say, the bills will be paid on time. I don't know how, and she'd walk away. Come back the next day. What are we doing about these bills? How are we going to pay these bills? It's handled. Tell me how it's handled. Well, I can't right now, but I know that it's handled. Apparently, he was doing his spiritual work. He was clear. He had set a clear intention that the bills were paid. And sure enough, the day the bills needed to be paid, a big check showed up in the mail, a gift from a sponsor that covered all the bills. And she looked at him and said, how did you do that? Intention. Intention. Now, you can't set an intention and then worry about it. You can't set an intention and then think it's not going to happen. That completely defeats the point of it. So setting an intention is to hold that idea of what's to happen still in the moment, knowing with absolute certainty that that's what's going on, and then letting it show up. It's not that we don't know, we do know it's going to show up. I may have told this story before. If I have, please forgive me. Edwin Gaines tells an amazing story about a woman that wanted to go on a cruise with her. Edwin used to take all these lovely spiritual cruises. And a woman came up to her after one of her workshops and said, "Listen, Edwin, I'm going with you on that cruise." She had announced him. And she said, "Great, I'll need $1,000 by such and such a day." She says, "Oh, I don't have $1,000, but I'm going on this cruise." So Edwin, being Edwin, she was very kind to the woman, let it go, went on her way. A couple of weeks before the event, Edwin, I don't know who called who, but these two people got on the phone together. And Edwin said, do you have the money to do this? She said, "No, but I will. I'm going on this cruise." "All right, darling. Well, the cruise is sold out, and I don't know how that's going to happen." "Oh, it's going to happen." Absolute clear intention. 2 days before the event, a person that was going on the cruise called Edwin and said, "Darling, I'd love to go with you. I know I've already paid for it and all, but I've got this court hearing about something that has to do with money, and I've got to be at this thing, and I can't go. Do you know anyone that could use my ticket?" Edwin was spellbound by that. And so she called the woman and said, "Guess what happened? Someone is unable to go, and they're giving you their ticket." She said, "I know, I'm already packed." So don't think you have to figure it all out ahead of time. You don't. We don't have to know all the details. All we have to know is that we're absolutely clear that this is so. We need to release any doubt or confusion and know the truth about who we are and about what we are doing in our lives. I'm still in my story here. I got to keep going. Okay. I believe that this idea of intention holds us in a place of being fully engaged in our lives. We are not observers in our lives. We are participants of the first order. We are the masters of our experience. And the way we do that is by clearly knowing where we're going. We can learn about how to get there along the way, but knowing what we're calling into our lives. I think one of the most powerful ways to do that is with being in service. What is your intention to be in service to your fellow man? If you think you're here to get stuff, you're going to be sadly mistaken at the end of your life, because you don't get to take any of that with you. But if you're here in service to others, if you're making the world a better place for other people, set that intention in a way that creates enormous possibilities, not just in your life, but in life itself. Do it in a way that calls you to be who you've come here to be. You have not come here to get stuff. You have come here to give gifts that only you can give. That's one of the projects I'm going to work on with Reverend Tina, is developing our ability to give everybody here that wants one a job. Not a hard job, but just some way that you can contribute to this center. I'm so grateful that you contribute financially. That's an important piece of it. I'm so great that you come here. That's fantastic. But the missing piece for a lot of us is that idea of being in service and setting an intention in that way. So I want you to be thinking about how you can be in service to this community. Yes, for the community, but even more so for yourself, for what you get back because you set that intention to be in service. When we do that, when we focus clearly on that we seek in life, it will show up. It may look a little different than we planned, but that doesn't matter. It will show up. Walter Russell said, "Successful people of all ages have learned to multiply themselves by gathering thought energy into a high potential and using it in the direction of the purpose intended." You all have purpose in your life. Figure out what that is. Why are you here? Why did you come to this planet? What are the gifts that you bring? And align every intention you have with that purpose. And it will be irresistible to life. You will get the things that you're calling into your life, especially if they're about giving yourself away to others. I set my intention every morning in my spiritual practice. First thing I do is gratitude. that I set my intention. Why why live this day? What's the purpose of this day? What is it that's going to be different at the end of this day from where it is right now this morning? And I usually get up ridiculously early, so the sun's not up when I'm having this conversation, but there's always something that I can draw on from where I want to be. If I don't set an intention for the day, anything can happen. But if I'm clear, lots of things can happen, including the thing that I'm saying I will create into my life, because my intention is clear. My life is clear when my intention is clear. I could not have accomplished the things I've accomplished in my life if this weren't true. And as much as it is true for me, because I'm not special, I'm not different, I'm just like you. And if you do what I'm talking about this morning, your life will change. It'll change in an extraordinarily good way. When you can articulate what you truly desire in life, you begin to harness incredible potential. Things will happen that you couldn't have imagined. Things will happen that you didn't know could happen, that will support you in what you're stating you want to do. That's spiritual law at work. Because spiritual law knows everything. We know very little. We're limited to a small amount of information in our lives. And when we try to figure it all out based on what we've experienced, we will always fall short. But if we leave it to the likeness of spiritual law to do that, it will find a way. It knows a way. It knows lots of ways. And this that I'm talking about this morning is not simply spiritual. It's not a mystical thing. Psychology research has shown that people who set intentions in their lives get the outcome they desire. They achieve their objectives and they live by their core values because they are using this incredible tool of intention. So I invite you today not to look at the obstacles in your life, but to look at what you could create if you called it forth. Oftentimes in my treatment work, I say, my word is the word of God. And what that does to me is it keys me in to know that when I speak, that thing that I'm declaring in life is real and it's happening right now. And when I do that, that's exactly what does happen. In practical terms, setting intentions can be incorporated into anyone's daily practice. It can be done in meditation, in journaling, in affirmations, and yes, in prayer. So however you want to do it, do it. Say it out loud. You might even want to find someone that can witness it for you, to hold you accountable. Make sure that they love you and don't make you wrong. So we cultivate a habit of intention setting. We do that in a way to use it in our lives, to make our lives work. It's quite simple, yet it still needs to be done on a regular basis. So let your first intention today be the intention to set your intention every day. And that'll get you started and take you to the place you want to go. Embracing the power of intention is not merely about achieving specific outcomes. It's about living with perfect purpose and authenticity. And that is the truth. Thank you. God bless you. And so it is. Thank you. Wonderful. And now we're going to reflect on these ideas of intention, and I invite you to close your ideas, accept this beautiful music and the words to this song, and let them just resonate to your soul.
God is all around me.
You, beloved one, are a magnificent being of love and light. You are a powerful, creative, spiritual being, alive and well on planet Earth. By directing your life with intention, that which is yours comes to you in perfect order, at the perfect time, in the perfect way. You use your mind like a powerful laser beam to focus on the outcomes that will best serve you and those you love. So I invite you this morning to claim your power, claim your good, by knowing that all is well and all is God. This is your destiny. Set your intention and receive. And so it is. The perfect light of Spirit is right where you are. You are more powerful than you can possibly imagine. Let this be your truth. Set your intention clearly and watch what happens. Only good can come from it. So it is. Thank you.
God is all around me. God is all around me.
Thank you.
Me and all my friends, all misunderstood. They say we stand for nothing and there's no way we ever could. Now we see everything that's going wrong with the world and those who lead it. We just feel like we don't have the means to rise above and beat it. So we keep waiting, waiting on the world to change. We keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. It's hard to beat a system when we're standing at a distance. So we keep waiting, waiting on the world to change. Now, if we had the power to bring our neighbors home from war, they would have never missed a Christmas No more ribbons on the door. When you trust the television, what you get is what you got. 'Cause when they own the information, oh, they can bend it all they want. That's why we're waiting, waiting on the world to change. We keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. And we keep waiting, waiting on the world to change. All right, guys, here we go. There we are. And so we're waiting, waiting on the world to change. We keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. One day our generation is gonna rule the population. So we keep waiting, waiting on the world to change. Say we keep on waiting, waiting on the world to change. We keep on waiting, we're waiting on the world to change. Waiting on the world to change. Waiting on the world to change. Waiting on the world to change.
So I know for a fact that we have folks in the room for the first time ever. Different than sometimes, because these folks are, at least the ones I've met, are sitting up close to the front. Usually first time people sit by the door so they can get away quickly if it doesn't work. So we want to meet you. So let's introduce these two folks right here. Yeah, second row, there you go.
Good morning. I'm Michelle. We've been here before, but it's been a long time.
Well,
yes.
we're going to pretend like it's first time.
Dr. Waterhouse brought us back.
Thank you.
And my name is Ronald, and I'm Ronald LeMay, and I've been here before.
Ronald, Michelle, thank you for being here today. Do you get emails from this center? No. Oh, well, then you're going to receive a little gift there and a card where you can give us your email address. Okay. It won't be overwhelming, I promise, okay? Thank you so much. Okay. Who else is here for the first time? Would you raise your hands? Got some folks right over here. We need the mic. Oh, he's got a mic too? You guys are so impressive. Hi. Tell us your name.
My name's Gloria.
Gloria, thank you so much for being with us today. You're from San Jose, no, Sebastopol.
Sebastopol.
Right. You know, in Europe they call it Sevastopol. But that's not a problem. We'll go with Sebastopol.
Was that Russian?
Yeah, 1 second.
Yes.
Sebastopol.
Yes. Exactly right.
Heidi Goldman, I'm here from Pompano.
Wonderful, Heidi. Thank you. Thank you both for joining us today and being with us.
Peter and Sharon from Fort Lauderdale.
Peter
Sharon. Yeah.
and Sharon.
I'm Sharon from Fort Lauderdale.
Wonderful. Welcome. Thank you so much for being with us today. Peter, where do y'all live? Do you live close by?
Fort Lauderdale, they said.
Fort Lauderdale. That's really close by. We're so glad you've come to be with us. We hope we get to see you again soon. Do we have anyone else here this morning for the first time? Well, thank you so much for being with us. We do have more. Great.
I'm Hilton, and I'm from Miami.
All the way from Miami?
Yeah, all the way from Miami.
Wow.
And I was looking for a place that talks about love, the inner love within, the oneness in all of us. So I think I found it. I'm happy to be here. Thank you so much.
Good words. Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Good morning. I'm Paulette,
Paulette.
Also
Hi,
from the
Paulette.
Gables. Nice to see you all.
It's so nice to
meet
have you
all.
with us.
Thank you for having
Y'all
us.
are shining lights. I'm so grateful. All right, let's give them all a hand here. Excellent. All right. Now it's time for us to receive our offering. And as our ushers prepare for that, I would just like to, first of all, thank our TPL members. We did a good job Friday, a week ago, thanking our TPL members with a lovely dinner. Everybody have a good time at that? Yeah, all right. Well, guess what? I made too much lasagna. So our snacks after our service this morning is lasagna. So if you want to stick around and have yourself some lasagna, please stick around for that. Thank you, TPL members, for your continued support of this center and for keeping your agreements on your financial pledge. We also are very grateful to those at home who go to the website and click the donate button and are able to support us in that way. Thank you all for being a part of that as well. And to everyone here in the room who will put money in the basket here in a moment, I am so grateful to you as well. It takes all of us participating in this in the best way we can to make this place work. You are essential to this unfolding presence that we are. So thank you so much, and we shall sing.
There was a time in my life I thought I had to do it all by myself. Didn't know the grace of God was sufficient. Didn't know the love of God was ahead. But now I can say you are encouraged. Something just to make it through another day. You've got to let it go.
This is what you have to say. I release and I let go, letting the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in my spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. I release and I let go, letting the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in my spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God. Here we go. I release and I let go, letting the Spirit run my life. And my heart is open wide. Yes, I'm only here for God. No more struggle, no more strife. With my faith, I see the light. I am free in my spirit. Yes, I'm only here for God.
What is in these baskets is sacred. Oh, but it's money. Money can be sacred, especially when it's given from people or by people with open hearts. People who do it lovingly. People who do it understanding what they're doing. And we do. We understand that this money will help pay the bills of the center. But it also is an energy that touches everyone that comes into this space. All between the walls. This space is filled with you. It touches everyone online. It makes a difference in many lives. So thank you for being a part of that and loving the center enough to do this. So it is. Thank you, sir. It's Practitioner Sunday. It's the Sunday that our practitioners meet to discuss their work as practitioners, and that means a lot of them are in the room. So I would like to invite our ministers and practitioners up on the stage. Yay! I've fallen in love with these people. They are incredible in their clarity, in their consciousness, in knowing the truth. So much so that they seem to work out anything that's going on in their lives pretty well, and then they're available to the rest of us when we get a little stuck. I call it a lending of consciousness, so that they can know the truth about you, in many cases better than you do, because they don't care about your problems. They simply know that you are the creative presence of life and that you can have it any way that you choose. So they know that with you, and things change. Ah, what a good-looking group of folk. Thank you so much for your dedication to this community, the good work that you do. And with that moment of gratitude, we shall sing.
Let's all stand for our final song. This is My Wish. This is my wish for the world, that peace will find its way, every boy and girl. This is the time for harmony. Let love be the song that everybody sings. Fill the air with joyful noise. Ring the bells and raise your voice. Let there be peace on earth. Peace on earth. Lift your light and let it shine. Shine, shine, shine. Let every voice be heard. Let there be peace on earth. Whoa, 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 yeah, yeah. Peace on earth. Whoa, 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 yeah, yeah, yeah. Peace on earth. Fill the air with joyful noise. Ring the bells and raise your voice. Let there be peace on earth. Peace on earth. Lift your light and let it shine. Shine, shine, shine. Let every voice be heard. Let there be peace on earth. Let every voice be heard. Let there be peace on earth. Happy Sunday. See you next week. Bye.